Let's go! Let's go, everybody. Welcome to this edition of Spitball the last day of January 2022. You know how we do it on Spitballin'. One or two topics, no scripts, no BS, just me shooting you straight, enlightening, entertaining, and hopefully putting some money in your pocket. And if you've been listening to me this postseason, we're 10-2. Headed to the Super Bowl. Had the Super Bowl champ. Picked him every game. My champ is still alive, which I can say is better than most people out there. Only 2 games I lost were games involving the Bengals, and I told you they had a chance. I thought they would play a competitive game in Tennessee, and they did. And I thought they would be a little bit competitive yesterday. I thought Mahomes would prevail. And at 21-3, I was saying, you know what? It was a good year for the Bengals. They can really build off this. And they just said, hold my beer, bitches. Because you know what? Joe Burrow and the boys aren't ready to go home yet. They overcame losing a coin toss in Arrowhead Stadium, whatever they call that field now, one of the toughest places to play in the NFL. And, you know, Mahomes made a mistake. And they didn't get to live to tell about it. Joe Burrow just did enough. And my God, that kicker is so clutch. And he's got balls of steel. I mean, the coach does, Burrow does. It's really a great thing to see. I mean, for such a young age. Either they don't know where they are or they really don't give a flying you-know-what. But they're ready for prime time. And, you know, they truly believe, why not us? And, you know, the way these playoffs have gone, why not them? They're a 4-point underdog going into the Super Bowl, but guess what? That's the least amount of points there have been an underdog in the last 3 weeks. So we expect a good game on Super Bowl Sunday, February 13th. Fantastic. I mean, what do you say? You know what? It's like that's good for football. And, you know, if I'm Aaron Rodgers, you know, and you're looking to move teams and Denver seems the logical place to go, why on earth would you want to try and win a Super Bowl in the AFC? Do you really think the Chiefs and Mahomes are going away? You think Josh Allen and the Bills are going away anytime soon? Do you want any part of Joe Burrow the way he's going right now? Balls of steel. You don't want no part of that. Aaron Rodgers, you know, getting a little bit long in the tooth, could be the 4th best quarterback in the AFC. And then we're not talking about what Lamar Jackson can do and what Derek Carr can do on the regular. I mean, my God, they got a chance. You know, that the AFC's a bear. It's so funny when we talk about sports. We talk about the NBA. You know, how the power of the Western Conference was for so long. And sure, they still have some Golden State and some great teams out there. But the paradigm of power has shifted east. For the longest of times, the power of power was in the NFC. But you know what? With Rodgers appears on his way out, Tom Brady, who was about 100% out, you know, we have Stafford, who people still have questions about. And, you know, if he hasn't answered them by now, you should really stick it up your, you know what. Matthew Stafford is prime time. Matthew Stafford's going to end up in Canton. And while he made a couple of mistakes yesterday and was fortunate enough a drop, you know, you need a couple of breaks. You know, how good has he been? You know, he lost his tight end yesterday, which cost a couple, you know, of prop bets, and I gave some good ones out. You know, Higbee was well on his way, but the rookie stepped up and, you know, got all Higbee's yards. You know, I had the right guy. Just you can't control if they get hurt. Down 10 points in their home stadium. And let's face it, there is no home field advantage for the Rams when they're playing a team from California. It's just not. Like I said before, they will have more of a home field advantage in the Super Bowl than they will in the NFC Championship game, which is kind of scary. But if you look at the quarterbacks left in the NFC, yeah, it's Kyler Murray, but, you know, he looked a little disoriented in his playoff run. You know, Dak Prescott, nope. You know, I don't see nothing in the AFC least. You know, you're going to put some stock into Kirk Cousins? Not really. Matt Ryan's long in the tooth. You know, there's a lot of question marks in quarterbacks moving forward. I think the power of the AFC has really taken flight. But just again, you know, a great football weekend. You didn't think it would be any better than the previous weekend. 2 games that went right down to the wire. And you know what? I do feel really bad today, because I don't hate the 49ers. And, I picked them to beat Green Bay in Green Bay because Jimmy G does a lot of things to make you win. And, he played a pretty good game yesterday. To be fair, the 49ers were up 10-7 at the half. That never should have been. A tough pass in the end zone to Kupp turned out an interception. Then Matthew Stafford put one throw on Kupp that he dropped. He would have probably been in the end zone. And some rookie guy from Notre Dame, I don't know his name because you know me, I'm terrible at names, put one on his hands in the end zone from like 55 yards out, and he dropped it. That game should have been 21-10 Rams. It was not. It was 17-7 headed to the fourth quarter. You know what? Matthew Stafford and his wife in his box and defending him went down the field again and again and again. He made plays, but I really feel bad for Jimmy G. He's going to be vilified for that last pass he made. Listen, if he takes a sack there, it's 4th and 25 with the time rolling. He tried to make a play. It was a desperate play. Didn't work. Are we gonna blow him up about that? Jimmy G's going to have a new address next year. Hopefully he ends up on a good team. I think he will. I think he'll end up. There's a couple places out there. Tampa Bay needs a quarterback, and they got a lot of pieces. And if Aaron Rodgers gets traded, Green Bay could use a quarterback, at least a bridge, because I don't think Jordan Love is the answer. But we're gonna talk at nauseum about all this, the playoff run and the Super Bowl. Yeah, we are going to have 2 full weeks. I hope COVID doesn't get the best of anybody. We mention it today. We discuss it, not too much in depth because you heard that in other places, and you can catch that at any place, and we'll talk about it later too. But, we're just giving kudos to who they are and where they be. But I will say this, a little word of warning to Sean McVay. Stop forcing the issue. Don't try and do things you haven't done in the regular season. And when you trust in Matt Stafford, just trust him all the way. Trust him all the way. You got a team destined to get to the Super Bowl. You're there. Don't F this up. Because if the Rams can't beat the Bengals, no matter how much mojo they got going right now, that's on McVay. He got out-coached yesterday, and they got away with it. And he got out-coached kind of in Tampa, and he got away from that too. I know you want to run clock. Put the ball in Matt Stafford's hands. Good things usually happen. You know what? He's one game away from saying Detroit no longer. And, if they're a 4-point favorite, I don't care what the line is. And sorry to my 11-year-old son who, living on Long Island, loves Joe Burrow. Loves him. He got to, as I'm sitting doing the show in his school parking lot, waiting for him to come out in his white Joe Burrow jersey, not as a front runner, but as an AFC champion. I'm sorry to tell my boy, I said, it's been a great ride. But Joe Burrow will have his time. I don't think it will be in 2 weeks. Matt Stafford all the way. Listen to the old man. The Rams will win in what's essentially going to be a home game for them. But you know what? A lot of people are going to be rooting for the Bengals, right? Like, rooting for the Bengals, right? Because it's a cool thing to do. But one more little topic before we go. We don't talk about tennis a lot, much in the show. But my God, one for the ages. I just happened to stumble upon on Sunday morning. Rafael Nadal, 20 major title victories, tied with Djokovic and Roger Federer. And used to be a clay court expert. And he's won the Grand Slam once, working on it twice. And, Australia Down Under has been his house of horrors. Was down 2-0 in the final. And somehow, some way, crawled his way back at his advanced stage, taking on Medvedev, who was set to be the number 1 player in the world with a victory. 2-0 down, came all the way back, 7-5 in the final set. An exhausting, draining, 5-hour and 24-minute match. Now, you might not be the biggest tennis fan out there, but, I think in this world sometimes, we overuse the term great. and one for the ages. And, it really doesn't apply. I'm not the biggest tennis guy, but that last fifth set, which lasted nearly an hour, was some of the most compelling TV and sports television that you see. And it's what makes sports great is living for these moments. And it really doesn't matter the sport. It's enjoying the moment, appreciating greatness when it's right in front of you, because as we see with Tom Brady, greatness doesn't last forever. We'll talk about that on another show. But kudos to the Bengals, kudos to the Rams, and kudos to Rafael Nadal. Unbelievable weekend in sports. That's it for this edition of SPiTBALLiN. You know how to find us on the Let's Go Network. Tweet at us on Twitter and Facebook. And, of course, like and subscribe all of my TikTok videos. 1 minute. We like to educate, entertain, and usually make you some bucks. 11-2 in the playoffs. Gave you some good prop bets along the way. Guy got hurt. Otherwise, we would have hit that too. We'll have more picks and all that good stuff coming up in later editions of SPiTBALLiN. But that's it for this edition. I am Dollar Bill. And, of course, like and subscribe. Tell your friends about us. And as we close every show, like to remind everyone, make some common sense out of your sports and your life. Catch you next time on SPiTBALLiN. Bye.